I'm so excited because the group has just been growing and growing and growing. Obviously, most of us are from the UK, but we also have people now from Japan, New Zealand, India, Jamaica the other day. So I'm so excited. So if you've been here a while, thank you for being here so long and sticking around. If you're new, welcome. I'm Kirsty Dee. I teach women predominantly, but there are a couple of brave dudes in this group too. But women predominantly, how to rise and how to love themselves. And yeah, I call myself an empowerment coach because that's really what I aim to do, to empower you, because it's all good and well, you're getting all these like tips and advice and stuff, but if you don't want to apply it, nothing's going to change. So I really work to kind of get you in a position where you love yourself enough, where you take action to really radically change your life. So if you catch the replay, if you catch this later, do hashtag replay, because I love to know who's actually resonating with the videos and who's getting involved and stuff. So that I can keep providing really good content, so that I know what you like and what you're enjoying and stuff. If you do hop on live, I'm just going to check everything's working well and everything. If you do hop on live, then do say hi and let me know that you're here. I'm just going to click and open it up so I can see as you hop on. But yes, welcome. And so tonight I want to do a video on 5 tips to change your life. So what do I mean by that? I mean creating a life that feels so freaking good, where like inside you feel really good, that you don't have to fake it anymore. You don't have to say you're fine when really you're not actually feeling really joyous, really happy, where you actually feel really good about yourself and about your life. Because what I always say to people is, like, you know, you could have everything manifest in your life, all your dreams come through, all the things you want, and still not feel good, because wherever you go, you got to take yourself. This is the thing that I always say to people repeatedly over and over again. So I really want you to just feel so good about yourself, so good about your life, so happy, so fulfilled, that you're really going for all the things that you want. And if you don't know what you want, you're really getting yourself into a position where your life's really intentional, really meaningful, so that you can discover what you really want and then feel aligned and feel like your life's really purposeful. I'm a firm believer when we take care and do the inside work, the external stuff, all the things you want, just takes care of itself. And I've seen this in my own life, because I used to suffer with depression, really bad anxiety, and I'm not just talking about like getting nervous, you know, feeling the fear and stuff, because we all get nervous at times, we all get worried at times, we all fear things at times, but I'm talking about like constant worrying, like waking up and it just being here and heavy and stopping you go for things. I used to just really not be a very happy person, and yeah, had a lot of things to overcome from the past and stuff. So I really know that it is so possible, no matter what you're going through, whatever's going on, you can totally rise and make your life so good and so frigging incredible. But that's going to take you. Last week I did a video, 5 tips to be empowered, so do watch that one if you're kind of struggling with that. But tonight I want to talk about specific things for you to totally change your life. Rebecca joined. Hi Bex, how are you? So I'm going to go and get straight into it. So the first one, this is going to come as no surprise to you. But I did debate, because there's always a thing is, I can just talk for England, like I can just go. The Choose to Rise program that that's launching in October, and obviously I did the first one this June. I was thinking, oh, can I, you know, fill it up for a month, because it was my first program. and I've had to make the new one like 6 weeks because I couldn't get just talking and talking. The same with like when I did the Choose to Rise Wellness Day. I was like, oh, it's my first event, can I fill up a whole day? Because most people, when they do wellness events, well, not most people, but a lot of people, they tend to get like other people involved and other speakers and stuff. But because I'm new to the area, like, well, I've been here about 18 months, but new to kind of like doing this field in this area, I didn't really know anybody well enough that I could get doing the event with me to trust, you know, because it's obviously my reputation, you know, to get involved. So I was like, I'm going to have to do it on my own. I was like, how am I going to fill up a whole day when I've never done an event before? And actually I could have just done a whole weekend retreat and a week thing. So whenever I'm doing these videos, I always have to think about like, okay, you're going to have to just choose like a handful of tips. So which ones are you gonna share tonight? Like what, you know, wisdom and stuff, which is why hence there's a program so I can go really deep into everything now. So tonight, when I was coming up with, I thought, right, let's just give you 5 tips that, you know, can really change your whole frigging life if you actually go away and implement them, because without application, nothing changes. Because you can hear all the information again and again and again, but transformation comes when actually you do the damn thing. So when I was coming up with 5 tips, this first one, I was like, should I really share this? Because you've heard me say this again and again and again. And I was like, I got to, because this one is just so undeniable. It has to be said, and I'm going to keep saying it because it's something, you know what's coming. I'm sure you know what's coming. But that's something that's changed my whole life, and I've seen it change other people's lives. So the first one is self-love. Real frigging self-love. I'm not talking about just, you know, self-care and painting your nails and face. I'm talking about loving you when you're not feeling great, when you're having a funky day, when you're feeling your emotions are high. I'm talking about loving you then. Practicing grace, compassion, letting go of, you know, the bullshit. Seeing self-love as the relationship to yourself. And all great relationships work because there's communication, there's connection, they listen to each other, because you can't expect to ignore somebody and expect them to all happy about it. So this is the same with you. Sometimes, you know, if you've got kids or something, sometimes they're driving you absolutely balmy, but you don't just kind of go, okay, well, you're being a bit dramatic, so I'm just gonna ignore you. You show up anyway. And the thing is, the people around you mimic what you do. Self-love changes everything, because we all know love's so important. When you see like awful, horrific things happen in the world, that's because of a lack of love. Love changes everything. So if your love doesn't include yourself, nothing's going to change. Love needs to be universal. So you have to be included in that. So it's like showing up for yourself every single day, and your life will change. Even on the days when you don't feel like it. I talked about this a lot last week in the Empowered video. But just wholeheartedly loving you, fully showing up, knowing that you are worthy. If you think of a baby and they'll cry in the night and you're tired, but you still get up, you still feed them, that's because they are so worthy of love and abundance and everything. That just doesn't change as you get older. You are absolutely a miracle. And if you want life to feel good, you've got to treat yourself well. And you really can't expect anybody else to if you don't. And we quite often think of like self-love is selfish. I want to tell you something, that is the biggest misconception, is the biggest BS ever. Because what happens is, if we don't take care of ourselves, we're more insecure, we're more needy, we just don't feel as good, so we don't have as much energy to help other people. It affects everything. Our health and everything is affected. And since I've started like doing self-love, and I mean proper self-love, which for me happened about 18 months ago, before I said I was doing it, and I really, really wasn't, and everything's changed for me since then. Everything's got better. Life just has this way of being so good. because it really does change everything. So it has to be the first tip, because even if you just do this one thing and you do it like real self-love, hence why the self-love timber, hence why in the Choose to Rise program we go really deep into this, it changes everything. So the first thing I'm going to say to you, love yourself even when you're not feeling great. Love yourself if you're feeling anxious, if you're worried. Have grace with yourself, have compassion with yourself. Practice real deep self-love, not just when you can be asked. I've had people say to me recently, oh, I really want to support you, and I really want to do a self-love timber for you, and it's like, no. I love that you want to support me, but you have to do it for you, because your life's only going to change if you do it for you. And I've had like numerous people say to me, oh, I can't do it because, you know, I won't be able to catch all the lives, I'm busy at times. And it's just like, no. Again, any relationship, like, you keep showing up even when you're busy, and that doesn't mean you're there all the time. So in terms of self-love timber, doesn't mean you watch every single live, but it means you don't give up on yourself because you're busy. You know, actually, if you're busy, you need it more than ever. If you're feeling overwhelmed, you need it more than ever. It's not all or nothing, just the same as like a relationship, you know, is not all or nothing. You go through like this, but you're still there. Your life is only going to be incredible if you take this approach and you're like, even if I can only do a little bit of something, I'm going to do something for me to take care of me, because nothing's going to change unless you do something. And the whole thing about like not having time with self-love, it's BS, because a lot of the stuff you don't even need to physically do anything. It's just learning to be compassionate about yourself, like changing your, you know, beliefs about yourself, working on your insecurities. A lot of that happens up here and within your body, and it doesn't take any time, and it creates time, because when you're feeling good, you're more productive. Working on the relationship with yourself creates so much time in your life, and it changes everything. Oh, hi Lydia. I know you're doing the Choose to Rise program, so we're going to go deep into that, and I assume you're doing self-love timber, but let me know if you are doing self-love timber. And Bex, are you doing self-love timber? Let me know. So that's the first one, really doing proper real self-love. The second one is vulnerability. Your life will not change unless you're willing to be vulnerable. This is probably not news to a lot of yous, but again, there's a difference between knowing and actually doing something about this, like, regularly. So if any of you are familiar with Brené Brown's work, you'll know this, the power of vulnerability. Being vulnerable is such a powerful commodity, because especially, I think, you know, if you're from the UK, there's this very like British thing about, you know, having a stiff upper lip, not telling anyone how you're really feeling, we don't want to be a burden. Oh my gosh, it's just the biggest bullshit ever. And I'm not saying you have to go and tell everybody your darkest secrets. I actually think we definitely shouldn't do that. People have to earn the right. Again, as Brené Brown says, not everyone deserves to hear your vulnerability story. But to change your life, it takes a certain level of vulnerability. To say to someone, actually, I'm really not doing okay, and I need some help. To actually seek out help takes you being vulnerable. To actually go for your dreams and to do the damn thing and filter out the noise of what will other people think takes you being really vulnerable. And if you do that, your life will change in miraculous ways. I've seen this with other people. I've seen it obviously massively in my own life, because I didn't do things because I was worried what people would think, especially people close by, like family and stuff, because I didn't want them to be like, oh, deluded Kirsty, you know, because, and not because they were being like harsh or mean, but just if people aren't going for their dreams themselves, they'll automatically think you can't do it. Because people aren't going to believe in you if they don't believe in themselves. And here's the thing, most people don't believe in themselves. Most people don't go for their dreams. Most people think, oh, that's all good, but it doesn't really happen to people like me. That's not true. We just make the decisions we can't do things before we've actually tried, before we've actually been vulnerable enough to try, and before we've actually truly shown up. And if you actually show up and you're willing to be vulnerable and you're willing to fail and you're willing to make mistakes, but love yourself enough that you just keep getting back up and you rise and you learn from everything, everything changes. I wouldn't have done an event if I was worried what people would think. And that doesn't mean I wasn't on my mind. I did think it was on my mind. But I was willing to just do it anyway and willing to be vulnerable anyway. I'm now writing a book. It takes a real level of vulnerability to do that because people might not get it. They may laugh, they may criticize. But I know my life will be the sadder for it if I don't go for my dreams. And here's the thing, when you actually go for it, it's crazy how many people you can actually help when you just throw your ego out and you don't make it about you. There's this thing that Oprah once said, and she basically said that, nerves are selfish because when you're nervous, you've made it about you. Like, what will people think? And it's just so ridiculous. Make it something bigger than yourself. Make your life be the very best it can be. It's a new day, it's a new moment. You get to decide how great, how incredible you can make your life by what you do right here, right now. Because I always say this to people, but your life is happening right now. And I repeatedly say that because we so often forget. We're so bogged down by the past or what could go wrong or worrying about the future, worrying if something will work out. But in this moment, you have everything you need. Right here, right now, you can do some really incredible things, but it starts by being really present in this moment and being vulnerable enough to really ask yourself, what do I want? Because quite often we don't ask ourselves in case it doesn't happen, and then we'll be disappointed. Be really vulnerable because it changes so much for you. The third thing, face your pain. Your pain matters, but it does not define you. So your pain may be really obvious, or it may not be very obvious. So if you've gone through something really, really hard, it's really obvious what the pain is. But all of us have pain. You can be a really happy person and still have pain about things. I'm really, really happy. And there's still things that I find painful. I'll read something in the paper and it just, it'll get to me and I'm like, that's just horrendous. One of the reasons I do what I do, because what I know is when you love yourself, you light the way for others to follow. And when people don't love themselves, they hurt people. Really happy, loving people aren't hurting people. So one of the reasons I'm so passionate about what I do, one of the reasons why I'm like saying to everyone, join Self-Love-Tember and tell all your friends and share it, because I know it changes everything. Because it's like this domino effect, what you do affects other people around you, because they will speak to other people and they will say things and stuff, and then that affects somebody and that affects somebody, and it just keeps going. It's like, the ocean comes in and out, it just keeps going and going and going, it never stops. So when you love yourself and you're raging out love, because if you don't love yourself, of course you can still be a really loving person, but it affects everything. So you loving yourself changes everything. And as I say, hurt people hurt people. So it's about facing your pain. So sometimes your pain is really obvious, sometimes it's not so obvious. Sometimes pain can just be like, oh, I don't like what's going on right now. You know, like kids arguing and bickering, and then you're resisting it and you're like, why is this happening? They're driving me mad. Like, that's pain. And that might sound really like insignificant and be like, oh, big deal. But what happens if you ever had anybody say, oh, you say, what's up? And they're like, oh, nothing in particular, just lots of little things. Those little things add up, and then before you know it, you just feel shit and you don't even know why. The little things can sometimes be more dangerous than the, you know, quote, big things, because they go undetected, they go invisible, and bang, you don't feel good, and you don't even know why. And you're like, I feel crap and I don't even know why. And then you feel helpless, and you feel useless. You have enough little things, enough invisible pain, and you're in for a world of pain, and you don't even know how you got there. So learning to catch out your pain quick and realising, I don't like this, and being able to witness it and change it and then come back to the self-love, and it changes so much. We talk about this a lot in the Choose to Rise program and stuff, about pain and stuff, and in the new program I'm really going to go into it even deeper, so I'm really, really excited about that. And if it's big pain you're facing, if you've been through something really hard, really, really struggling with it, the sooner you face it, and I mean really, really face it, not just face it when it gets too heavy and you've got no choice, I mean literally face it head on, it lingers for longer and longer and longer. We can hold on to things for an incredible amount of time. It is insane. I know I've shared this before, but I had an incident where I did a Reiki course a couple of months ago, and when you do Reiki, what can happen is it can bring up stuff from the past that you don't even know is still there. Things that you don't even know you're still struggling with. So I'd done this Reiki thing, and this thing kept coming up from my teenage years, which I didn't even know it affected me, which is so ridiculous. Well, I'd started realising before I did this course, because it kept coming up to me, so it was already kind of out here. But what happens is things can linger for a really, really long time until we're ready to deal with it, and you will have to deal with it at some point. And on this weekend it all came up, and it was something from like 20 years ago, and it was actually the most beautiful thing, because when it comes up and you actually face it, like, everything can change. And I literally got home after this Reiki course, got in the bath, and just bawled my eyes out, like real ugly, can't catch my breath tears. And it was amazing, and it was so healing. But here's the thing, I didn't even know that was there. It had obviously been there for 20 years. And these things can go undetected, and a lot of them are the reason why we're insecure about things, why we struggle with things, why certain things affect us. Facing your pain is one of the bravest, most beautiful, most courageous things you can ever do. And it changes everything. Start facing your pain. Start doing any healing work you need to do. Take it one step at a time. Comes with the first one, the self-love. Have compassion with yourself. You'll have days that are easier than others. That's all part of it. But love yourself enough that you show up for all of it. Oh, I've got Lydia, Holly, Hayley, Helen, Rebecca. Thank yous all for being here. It's a bit like with Helen, I know Lydia's doing the program. It's a bit like a Choose to Rise program here. It's very, very exciting. If you're just hopping on, after this is finished, go back and watch the beginning, because all the steps are really, really, really important, and they change so, so, so much. So, number 4, action. Nothing's going to change unless you take action. It's realizing, when did you decide to not have the life you want? So you may not have chose the situation you're in right now, but there's definitely things we do, because every day our life is made up of all the little decisions we make. There's definitely things you've done to take you further away. Now, have grace with yourself, have compassion with yourself, because we all do that. We all do that, right? But let's take, so I'll take something like really random. I don't currently have abs. I would really like to have abs. But the way I've been eating, the way I've been working out has been taking me away from that. Now that doesn't matter, because I love myself without abs. But my point is, everything we do takes us further or closer to the things we want. So say you've had a health diagnosis that is really, it's really affected you and you don't feel good about it, right? That's totally outside of your control. But then what happens is we give up on ourselves and we don't make decisions that empower us, that help us out. So even if something like that happened, you still have a decision to make of okay, but what am I going to do to really embody health? What am I going to do to take the very best care of me? What am I going to visualize for myself? What am I going to put into my body? What am I going to say to myself as I put things into my body? Because there's always something you can do. And it's empowering yourself and knowing that you're going to love yourself no matter what comes up. Because your life will be more incredible when you do. You'll feel better when you do. You'll be a better person when you do. Not because you're not already an epic person, but if you're struggling, if you're down on yourself, if you're beating yourself up, it's really hard to show up and be super loving. You end up bitter, you end up resentful. So take action. Every single day, your life needs to be really intentional. You need to wake up with intention. If something happens during the day that pisses you off or gets under your skin, you can take an action there and then to kind of feel it, to witness it, and then be okay, but what action am I going to take? What am I going to do about this? You can put on music that makes you feel good. You can listen to a podcast. You can come in this bloody group and say, this triggered me. Get it off your chest. You can watch on videos. Do not bypass it. This comes with number 3. You gotta face it. But you do have to take action, because there is always something you can do. We talked about this a lot last week with the self-discipline. It's coming to a place where you really embody what you want. So think about what you want in the future, and then start making decisions as if you were already there. So say you wanted a really successful business. Start acting like you're already there. How would you show up? So take the live videos that I do, for instance. I've done live videos where nobody's shown up before. And if I'd stopped doing them, there'd have never been a Choose to Rise program. I wouldn't be now writing a book. I wouldn't have done the event. But I showed up as if so many people were going to watch them. And I kept showing up. Because that is how you get the life you want. But so often we wait to get somewhere to take the action. But here's the thing. You ain't going to get there unless you take the action. You've got to start doing the actions as if you were already there. You have to show up as if you're already there and be bring it. Because it's the only way for it to actually materialize and become a reality. And this comes with being vulnerable. Number 2, that I've already gone through, but I know some of you haven't seen the beginning. It's been vulnerable enough to just freaking do that. And to learn, and you'll make mistakes, and they'll be the best thing you ever do, because you learn so much from that. They say this thing success leaves clue, so does freaking failure. And it's epic. And when you love yourself enough that you just keep rising and it doesn't matter, and you're not worried what other people think and, you know, if they're laughing and stuff, because who gets the last laugh? It'll be you. When everything you want materializes. And you're already laughing, because if you're working on self-love, you'll already start feeling really good. And on the days you don't feel good, you'll know to practice compassion. And it's not about getting the last laugh anyway, because when you start loving yourself, you really stop caring what other people think. You're just doing it for you. You're not trying to like prove anything. But that's just what happens. And when other people aren't achieving the life they want and their dreams aren't unfolding, you're the badass like, it's already happened for me. Because you've taken action, you've shown up. Most people complain about their lives but don't do anything about it. They don't do anything to change it. But somebody who's got the life they want, they took action. Somebody who is the pro was once the amateur. And if you're the underdog, you've got a really great advantage. Because you've got more to rise. Like, the level you can get to just keeps growing and growing and going. And because you know how hard you have to work, your level of fulfillment is exponential. And it just keeps going and going and going. Like, there is literally no limit. And they're so sacred and it's so beautiful. And you'll be like, I did that. I did that. Because nobody else can do it for you. You want an incredible life? Only you can do it. And you can do it. And the only thing that stops you is you not believing you can, or you not feeling worthy, which is why the first one's like self-love. It's why the self-love timber. So love yourself enough to do it. Because self-love isn't just being able to say to yourself, oh, I love myself, you know, I know I'm good enough, I know I'm beautiful. Because a lot of that is like, yeah, I hope you can say that about yourself. And if you can't, have grace for yourself and you will get there if you keep going. But also a lot of that is like bullshit, because it's easy to say those things, but if you aren't actually taking action and behaving like somebody who loves themselves and showing up for yourself and being kind to yourself, you're all talk. And nobody believes the person that's all talk. They're just bullshitters. If you aren't actually taking action and treating yourself like somebody who loves themselves. So you have to take action. The things you want, they want you too. They wouldn't be desires in your heart if you weren't meant to go for them and you weren't meant to claim them. But those can only manifest if you actually get up and you rise, because it's free will. So, I'm just looking at the time and it's 35 minutes and I'm just like, woo! I was trying to keep this short and sweet, but it's not happening because I need to say this all, because you all deserve to make your life so incredible, and you can. So I'm going to just give you all 5 tips. And the last one is invest. Invest in yourself. Investing in yourself doesn't always have to mean money. Sometimes it does. Only you know the answer to that, right? But investing in yourself means showing up for you. Time is the most powerful commodity we have, because it's the one we're always saying, oh, I haven't got enough time, I haven't got enough time, I haven't got time. If you make time to show up for yourself, and it doesn't have to be mass amounts of time, that's not what any of this is. But if you make time for you, for your dreams, or to just take a moment to witness what you're thinking about, and invest in yourself that way, and investing like loving yourself and, you know, treating yourself like somebody that frigging matters. Because if you don't treat yourself like someone that frigging matters, nothing's going to change, right? Invest in that time. So why we're doing self-love timber? Because it's like investing in like making a conscious effort, like I'm going to look after myself, I'm going to take care of myself. Because most of us don't do that. Most of us do not practice self-love, and some of us say we are, but we're really not really doing it, if we're honest with ourselves, only half-heartedly. And if you only do it half-heartedly, you're only going to get half-assed results. So invest in yourself with your time, and it could also be money. And I avoided saying this for so long because I thought this was just like a sales technique, that coaches and stuff use, and I was just like, oh, and it used to just really trigger me, because I was like, oh, it's alright for you to say with all your money and charging blah 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 blah. But it doesn't, you don't have to spend shit tons of money. But if you really, really struggle to treat yourself and look after yourself, there's something in that that you need to look at. Because this was me, right? I used to really, really struggle to spend money on myself. And I thought, God, if this was my kids or my husband or whatever, I mean, Tony doesn't, bless him, he doesn't tend to spend money on himself either. But I just wouldn't think anything of it. You know, if it was my friend and they were like, oh, I really love this, should I get it? I'd be like, yeah, of course. But I used to really, really struggle with that. Literally. This was only like a week ago. There was these pants, and they were literally like £2 in the sale in New Look, these Friends pants, and they were just really cool. And I was like, oh, should I, shouldn't I? And then I was like, are you joking, Kirsty? They're like £2 pants. Buy the freaking pants, Kirsty. Because I've always really struggled to spend money on myself, because I had this real shame about spending money on myself and investing in myself, because I had failed businesses and I've been bringing up kids, and I just wasn't bringing in any money for such a long time. Anyway, of course, I bought the pants. As Mother Earth would have it, I don't think there's any dudes on here, but I bought the pants, really excited to wear the pants. Mother Earth happened, white pants, totally got ruined, and I was like, are you fucking kidding me? But never mind, I'm going to buy myself some more of them, because I love myself now. But that took me a while to get to spending money on myself, to investing in myself. I've just recently invested on doing a coaching program with another coach, because what I realised is the happiest people, they have coaches, they invest in themselves. Now, if this is triggering you because you don't have the money, be really, really kind to yourself, because it's like I said, it doesn't always have to be money. It can just be your time, right? Before I started investing money into myself, I was just showing up fully and doing the self-love work with all the free information online. We live in a world now where it's like all online, right? But knowing, also remembering with the action, if you're listening and watching but not actually applying it, nothing's going to change, right? So no, you don't have to spend money for your life to change, right? But if you are in a position where you know it's time to really invest in yourself, whether it's like you've got healing stuff and you need to get a coach or a therapist to help you through that, whether it's like, you know, you really want to do, say, the Choose to Rise program, but you're like, oh, I don't know if I'm worth it, but you know you're in a position to do it, that's when you've got to do it, even if it's scary, even if it stretches you, even if you never done anything like that before, because everything changes when you love yourself enough to do this. And I know that because I used to really, really struggle to do that. As I say, a week ago I was like, £2 pants, should I buy them? And I know that's not investing, like, you know, pants is not investing in like a future, but it's the message behind it. If you really, really struggle to do nice things for yourself, to treat yourself, you need to look into that. Also look into it if you're somebody that actually spends money when they're not feeling really good. Then your investment can be, I'm actually not gonna like place my happiness outside of me. Because, you know, retail therapy, if it's addictive, not investing in yourself. The investment then would be like, no, I'm actually gonna do the hard stuff. I'm actually gonna do the meditation or the healing or whatever it is, or the personal development, or I'm going to get in touch with Kirsty, like accelerate for one-to-one coaching in the Choose to Rise program. The offer ends on the 11th. But you know what investing in yourself means. You know if it's your time, you know if it's you showing up, you know if it's like, I actually just need to freaking start loving myself enough to get off my butt and work out because I'm not feeling very good about my fitness level. You know what it means. I can't tell you what it means, you know what it means. So there's the 5 things that I have. Oh, Evelina's joined. Hi Evelina, I hope you're well. So there's the 5 things. I'll quickly go over them, but if you're joining later, I do recommend that you go back and you watch from the beginning. So the first one is real self-love, like real self-love. Second one, being vulnerable. changes everything. Thirdly, face your pain. 4th, take action. And 5, invest. Now, next week there's going to be another video. Every Wednesday I'm doing a live video for Wellness Wednesday. Tomorrow on my stories I'll be doing Rise on Thursday, but every Wednesday I'll be coming in here, I'll be doing a live video. Next Wednesday I'm on a holiday, so I might be doing it from a hotel, hiding in the bathroom because of the kids. We'll see. I'll make it work. Every Wednesday I'm going to be doing a video on here because I want you to have the very best life possible. So I'm going to keep showing up every Wednesday and sharing tips and tools. So do join live if you can, because the energy is different when you join live, plus then you can ask me questions. And then of course September, Self-Love-tember's coming every single day in September. I'm going to be doing a live video. I've got some coaches and stuff joining on some of the lives to share their expertise. I've got Viola Hug, who I did the book program with. She's got a book all on abundance. She's really epic. She's going to be coming in talking to us about abundance. I've got another coach coming to talk to us about like chakras and Reiki and healing and stuff, because Reiki was such a game changer for me. I'm actually qualified in Reiki now. So I've got loads of fun, exciting things to come on. I've got spiritual counsellor Selena. She's going to be here actually from Japan. She's actually coming to stay with me and get involved in Self-Love-tember, so that's super exciting. So there's so many great, wonderful, amazing things happening. So if you're on the fence about Self-Love-tember, stop being on the fence, because it changes everything. So get involved with Self-Love-tember. Let me know you're in. Get on the event. Click attend. Invite your friends, because everybody's life is better when we all love ourselves. So that's it till next week. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and I will speak to you soon. As always, keep choosing to rise. Namaste.